friends, I'm Sarah. Welcome back to my channel, Sunset Bow Tarot. So today I wanted to do a initial walkthrough of a deck that I just received. This is a Kickstarter deck. It's by an artist named Lindsay Silverman of Eye of Astro is the name of her business, and the deck is the Intuitive Night Goddess Tarot. So again, this is a deck that was on Kickstarter, and it was one of those that I just found quite intriguing. I don't actually have a lot of decks that are sort of goddess oriented decks, to be perfectly honest. So I really was intrigued by the artwork of this one and was just very interested in checking it out. So I decided to go ahead and back it, and just received it the other day. So I'm very excited about it. So this is the deck. Again, it's still in shrink wrap, so we'll take a look at that in just a second. It did come with a very nice note from Lindsay. Dearest Sarah, thank you for your purchase. May this package bring magic into your days and nights. It did come with a number of stickers. So we have here the Justice card and the Revolution card, which is the Tower. So I liked some of the choices that she made as far as how to represent the different cards. And this is a collage style deck, but I really liked the way that the collage was put together in the cards that I did see when I backed it. So I really enjoy that, and it's nice to have some stickers included. Here's her card. There's a little sort of postcard thing here that says there is magic everywhere. This deck did come with a custom bag for the deck, so it's just sort of like a velveteen style bag, and it has this little symbol custom screened on it. So that's kind of a cool little bag. And then it also came with a spread cloth. So here is the spread cloth. So it's black with the gold and white printing on it. And I do think it's quite pretty, this cloth. That's quite nice, actually. I like it. So it's got this like circle design in the center. I need to iron it, but that's really pretty. I like that. So anyway, that's the spread cloth, but I know that what everybody's probably most interested in seeing is the deck. So let's go ahead and get that unwrapped and take a look at it. So the deck does come in a nice 2-piece box. I have a little bit of denting on the corner of my box from shipping, but not a big deal by any means. So on the back here, it says connect to intuition, delve into nature, cross the hidden veil, embrace the universe, unfold your myth. So that's really pretty. And it is a very nice box. Again, 2-piece with the thumb notches. So here is the deck, and you can see that the box is very pretty on the inside as well. It has these stars and hand symbols, so that's quite nice. It does come with a little guidebook. We'll take a closer look at that in just a second. And here are the cards. So this deck is gold gilded, and really a very pretty gilding, actually. It feels like a pretty high quality gilding, I have to say. And the cards, so here's a standard US Games Rider-Waite-Smith. So it's almost identical. The Intuitive Night Goddess cards are just a little bit narrower than a standard tarot, but they're the same height. So, so quite nice in terms of the size. And so what I was thinking is that we can just kind of go ahead and zoom in and start taking a look at these cards. This is what the backs look like. So it's a very simple back with the white stars on black. And then the fronts, I know initially she had examples of these cards shown that had much wider borders, and a lot of folks sort of said, hey, why on earth would you have such large borders on these cards? So she did reduce the size of the borders in response to that feedback, which is quite nice. So they do have borders, but they're not huge borders. And I think overall the layout of the cards is quite pretty. So let's go ahead and zoom in a little bit and take a closer look at these cards. All right, so she did change the names of some of these cards, but you can see, you know, how the collage is done. I think it's actually very well done collage, where it does end up with a very cohesive looking piece of artwork at the end. So I do think it's really quite lovely. And then in the background, it has these sort of stars, night sky kind of view, which I really like. The aesthetic of this really appealed to me. So the Fool has been changed to Potential. And then for the magician, instead, we have the witch. But again, I really like it. I like the way that the collage is done. I like the florals in the back. I like the way that all of the suit symbols are represented. It's really very beautiful. The high priestess is the high priestess. And again, I really like the artwork of this deck. I really think that it's quite beautifully done collage as far as collage goes. Oh, here's the Empress. How gorgeous is she? I love all these green hills that kind of make up her gown almost. And here's the monarch in place of the emperor, which I really like. This is one of those decks where I almost kind of wish the cards had been a little bit bigger, because I feel like there's so much going on in the artwork, and I almost wish I just had bigger artwork, because I think it's really beautiful. So here's the mystic in place of the Hierophant, which I like a lot. In place of the lovers, we have the Wayfarer, which I think is quite interesting. And it definitely gets at more of that choice aspect of the lovers, where you have kind of two paths here. And again, this is the Intuitive Night Goddess Tarot, so it is a very feminine energy focused kind of tarot. So there aren't really a lot of masculine energies to this. And so I think that maybe, you know, the duality of a card like the Lovers is maybe not quite what she was going for, but I really like how it does imply that sense of choice that you often see in the Lovers card. And here we have Freedom. So this would be the Chariot. And Strength. That's beautiful. The Hermit is Introspection. I really like that. And the Wheel of Fortune is Chance. And here we have Justice. So pretty. And then Meditation in place of the Hanged Man. Gosh, I really like this artwork, actually. Here's Death. How lovely is that? How she's sort of faceless, and I love this sort of skeletal horse and the scythe, but it looks very, it's very beautiful and gentle. It's a very appealing death. And here's Temperance. Gosh, I'm really liking this a lot. So here's the Devil. The Devil is Reclamation, which is very, very interesting, because it really gets at sort of the, you know, the positive meaning of the devil in terms of reclaiming your own power, you know, reclaiming your own authority and your own agency. And so that's a really, really cool take on the devil. And then again, here is Revolution for the Tower, which I think is very cool. Here we have the star. Oh gosh, isn't that beautiful? And the moon. And the sun. And then we have Awakening in place of the Judgment card, which is, again, very lovely. And the Universe instead of the World. So, gorgeous. Love it. So here we get into the suit cards. We have the Ace of Wands. I love the poppies and the fiery flowers that are represented here. We have the Two of Wands, the Three of Wands, the Four, and the Five. And again, this is the kind of collage that I find really appealing. I think it is well done. It's quite cohesively done, and it doesn't feel overly busy, but it does have the beautiful flowers. It has the night sky. I don't know. Something about this artwork really appealed to me. Here's the Seven of Wands, the Eight of Wands. I love how the little leaves coming out of the wands are like little flames. Here's the Nine of Wands. That's lovely. And the Ten of Wands. And so the courts have been renamed. So we have the Nymph in place of the Page. And the Warrior in place of the Knight. Love that. She has such a fierce look on her face. And then here's the Queen. And the Spirit of Wands in place of the King. Although I suppose, I mean, you could even, yeah. I think this is definitely intended to be the Queen of Wands from a Rider-Waite-Smith standpoint, because we have the sunflower and the cat and everything. But yeah, I'm interested to take a look at a guidebook, at the guidebook, and again see, because this is, you know, designed to be a very sort of feminine energy type of deck, and so it's interesting that we have the Queen and the Spirit, and you know, I'd have to kind of try to decide, I think, how to represent those two things. From a sort of normal court standpoint, like they don't have immediate specific associations for me. I would almost associate the Queen in this deck more with the King in a regular deck, and potentially the Spirit more with the Queen, but we'll have to see how I feel about it, and I am going to take a look at the guidebook. Here we have the Ace of Cups. Isn't that beautiful? And the Two of Cups. And again, we don't have the sort of relationship aspect of the Two of Cups. You know, we have sort of the balance and duality presented in the two, but we don't have a, you know, a relationship between two people necessarily depicted. So that's, you know, again, a very interesting take on it. Here's the 3. It's beautiful. And the 4. I really like how this deck has been created. Here's the 5. And the 6. And the 7. The 8. The 9. And the 10. And here we have the Nymph of Cups. I like how we still have, you know, I mean, there's some elements of the Page of Cups, but oh, look at that Knight of Cups. Warrior of Cups. Ooh, I love that. As you all know, the Knight of Cups is a very, very important card to me, and I love this one. I love that. All right, here is the Queen of Cups. Beautiful. And the Spirit of Cups. And again, I think that this is just a really well done collage deck. I really like the way that the collage has been put together. It reminds me of the Spolia in terms of the feel that I get from the collage. So I really like that. Here is the Ace of Swords and the Two of Swords. I like that in the night sky we still have the crescent moon, like in the Rider-Waite-Smith Two of Swords. We have the Three of Swords, the Four of Swords. Isn't that pretty? Here's the 5. And the 6. The 7. And the 8. I love that. I like how it's the plants binding her in this 8 of Swords. I do think that this deck is really well done. I'm actually really liking it. The 9 of Swords and the 10 of Swords. And this is an interesting take on the 10 of Swords. Like, she definitely, you get the feeling that she is being kind of trapped by swords, or she is in a state of being stuck, but she has agency, you know, she's holding on to 2 of them herself. And here's the Nymph of Swords. I think it's interesting how she's almost wearing a skirt that's like a honeycomb. And the Warrior of Swords. I like there's like a comet and the fast moving animals and the Knight of Swords. Here's the Queen of Swords. And the Spirit of Swords. And here we have the Ace of Pentacles. Very beautiful. The 2. The 3. The 4. And the 5. The 6. And the 7. And the 8, the 9, and the 10. That's so pretty. I like all the crystals that are represented. Here we have the Nymph of Pentacles, the Warrior, the Queen, and the Spirit. Interesting. So that is really cool. It's a really beautiful deck. I find it interesting how, you know, it is collage, and she's used for the collage what look like sort of older, you know, kind of, you know, like plate style imagery for some of them. And, you know, so a lot of it is, it's definitely very multicultural, but I am very curious to know what the sources were on some of the artwork, because, you know, using some of this older artwork, especially of people from other cultures, there's definitely some like colonial aspects of that, and that it just makes me wonder, you know, where that artwork is from, and you know, kind of how well or not well depicted some of these people are in terms of dress and things like that. So so it definitely is interesting. I do want to take a look at the guidebook. And there were a few cards that I was curious about taking a look at. Specifically, I was interested in taking a look at the quartz, the Queen versus the Spirit. So if we take a look at the Queen of Wands, for example, let's see. The Queen of Fire walks the earth surrounded by her companions. A perched raven watches her as a cat eyes it warily. A lion stands stoically in the background, etc., etc. She proceeds with confidence, her staff lighting the way. She looks over her shoulder to gaze on the kingdom she has built and manifested along the way. Her journey continues, but she now understands the cycles of trials and tribulations and how to transcend them with grace, beauty, passion, and power. She created her own path, and now others can follow. This is nice in terms of really describing the artwork and really describing the meaning of the different symbolism. This card denotes a time of integration from lessons of the past and earned confidence being realized. Now is a time to trust yourself and intuition to access this unfolding forward with the energy of the divine feminine channeling through you. Keywords: fortitude, energy, autonomy, integration, light your fire and others. And then Spirit of Wands. Our final goddess in the suit of wands stands before fire leaping from the earth. She holds her staff in one hand and a shawl above her head, adorned with flowers. Her gaze is white and glows like the stars that surround her, hinting that she has achieved cosmic connection. With this integration, she can see beyond the veil and is ready for the next phase of her journey. She is able to use her traveling cloak to open a portal to another world above her, while she continues to build the world in front of her. She's confident because her vision allows her to create a path where none existed before. The lizard represents the ability to adapt to change in your surroundings. The lion represents a secure and confident guide. Personal and spiritual growth. When you align passion with intuition, you realize what your highest self desires. So the keywords here are passion, spiritual realization, vision, imagination, and guidance. So that's actually really cool. I feel like there definitely is a sense of sovereignty in the Queen, with some of the keywords that have been given. And then the Spirit definitely, there isn't the sort of gender duality necessarily. Like, you can't specifically say, oh, the Queen of Wands represents the Queen and the Spirit represents the King, or vice versa. They do mean totally different things in terms of the meaning, from the quartz, the normal gender-based quartz that we see in a more traditional deck. So I'm curious to see in the cups, for example, the Queen of Cups keywords are compassion, boundaries, intuition, sympathy, understanding. The Spirit of Cups keywords are emotional harmony, empathy, balance, and self-love. So interesting. And again, you can't necessarily say that one is specifically the Queen and the other one is specifically the King. Yeah, interesting. Very, very interesting. So anyway, again, so this is the Intuitive Night Goddess Tarot. I do think it's a really beautiful deck. The guidebook is small. It's very simple. It, you know, has a couple of initial pages that are very sort of high level about the deck and how to work with the cards. Couple of spreads, just a couple. And then it goes into cards, straight into card symbolism. And that's basically the rest of it. And then there is a quick guide with the specific keywords for the different cards. So, so yeah, it's really beautiful. It's interesting. I'm going to go ahead and see how it shuffles really quick. Let me just zoom out a little bit, and then we'll go ahead and we'll draw a card and maybe see what the guidebook has to say about it. Just going to move my crystals here. Cards are a bit stiff, but it's the kind of thing where they are a nice cardstock. It is a definitely a sort of matte satin cardstock, and it is quite nice. It does feel like the cards will loosen up over time the more that they get shuffled. But it is a quite nice shuffle. They're just a bit stiff to start out with, but definitely a quality cardstock, I'd say. I do like it. So we got the 10 of Pentacles for our initial draw here. And that is a really beautiful card. And let's see what the guidebook says about the 10 of Pentacles. We are nearing the end of the tarot, and if you view the tarot as a story of life lived, then this is where we begin to look back on all that we have acquired along the way. Acknowledge the richness that surrounds you. You may feel stable when it comes to security, financial, or business matters. Returning to earth is represented by the crystals and coins. Amethyst is symbolic of spirituality and contentment. It is a cleansing stone. It signifies an ending and a beginning and is a cosmic womb of sorts. It is reflecting on your life and the effects you've had on those around you. It is at this moment we find peace and become one with the universe. We understand how we fit within it all. Celebrate gratitude for all the paths that brought you to this place of blessings. As you move through the Pentacles, coins are used to indicate value, but by the time you reach this part of your journey, earthly treasures take their place, indicating ascension from the material realm to spiritual peace. Keywords: wealth, success, security, generations, contribution, content. So that is really nice, and it's a lovely card to get for my first draw from this deck. So again, this is the Intuitive Night Goddess deck by Lindsay Silverman of Eye of Astro. It's a really lovely, feminine, very strongly focused on feminine energy collage deck, and I really like it. I'm looking forward to working with this, and I really think the artwork is very beautiful. It's very well done as far as collage artwork, so this is a very exciting one for me. So thanks so much, everybody. Hope you enjoyed this walkthrough, and have a great day. Bye-bye.